Two people will spend the next decade in jail for murder. Rebecca Phillips, whose court appearance you see on your screen, and Jameer Richardson, who you see on the left, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of Tywan Parsley. Parsley was killed in a shooting in December of 2020 on South 13th Street in Wilmington. Phillips received 10 to 14 years in jail. Richardson will spend 8 to 10 years in jail. A person is